What I'm about to reveal is Judge Frank Caprio's most emotional case, one that left the entire courtroom in tears and forever changed the way people understand courage. A 10-year-old girl named Sofia Ramirez steps forward to defend her family over unpaid traffic fines. But when Judge Caprio learns why this brave young girl is the one speaking for her parents, his reaction becomes one of the most powerful displays of compassion you will ever witness. That I'm telling you now, Sofia's story will break your heart. But Judge Caprio's response will restore your faith in humanity and show exactly what justice looks like when it's guided by empathy and love. When this fearless child stands before the American legal system to protect her family, the moment that follows becomes unforgettable. Before we dive into this life-changing event, make sure you hit that subscribe button because this incredible story of courage and compassion deserves to be heard everywhere. And tell me, where are you watching this from? On your phone during lunch? On your laptop at home? Maybe listening while you're driving? Have you ever seen a child show more courage than adults? Drop a comment with your city and how you're watching. Sofia's bravery will inspire people everywhere, whether you're in Chicago, Toronto, or anywhere in the world. This isn't just a courtroom case. It's a story about sacrifice, family, and the power of love pushing through fear. What happens over the next half hour shows you what real courage looks like when life becomes uncertain. That it's a quiet Tuesday morning in March at Providence Municipal Court. Judge Caprio is reviewing his docket when one case immediately stands out: traffic violations belonging to the Ramirez family, unpaid fines totaling $420, along with a note that the defendants speak limited English. The courtroom carries its usual atmosphere: nervous defendants waiting for their turn, attorneys sorting through files, and staff preparing for another day under Judge Caprio's compassionate leadership. Then, at precisely 10:45, the bailiff calls the case. And what happens next brings the entire room to a standstill. Instead of adults stepping forward, a small figure approaches the defendant's table, a 10-year-old girl with long dark hair, dressed in a neatly pressed school uniform, clutching a manila folder like it holds the most important documents she has ever carried. Behind her, moving uncertainly, are her parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez. Maria stays close to the wall, trying to disappear into the background, while Carlos stares at the floor, both visibly terrified of being in an American courtroom. But it's Sofia who commands the room. Despite her small size, she walks with purpose toward Judge Caprio's bench, her chin lifted with a courage that seems impossible for someone so young. Inside her folder are translated documents, carefully written notes, and something deeper: the desperate hope of keeping her family safe. The Ramirez family is here because over the past year, Carlos accumulated several traffic violations while juggling 2 jobs. Expired registration. A broken taillight. Parking citations. Each one another obstacle to their American dream, another bill they could barely afford. Before I show you the incredible courage this child displays, let me ask, have you ever seen a moment where a child stepped up when adults couldn't? Have you witnessed someone so young carry a burden far beyond their years? The Ramirez family, the court clerk calls out, brows lifting in confusion as he sees the young girl step forward. Sofia approaches the front while her parents stay several feet behind, overwhelmed by the legal system they don't fully understand. Judge Caprio looks down from his bench, the compassion in his eyes unmistakable, but the sight of this determined child speaking for her parents creates a moment unlike anything this courtroom has ever seen. "Good morning," Judge Caprio says softly. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "My name is Sofia Elena Ramirez, Your Honor," she replies clearly, her English almost perfect, touched only by a slight accent. "I am here to speak for my parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez." Judge Caprio sets his paperwork aside completely, a sign that she now has his full attention. "Sofia, how old are you?" "I am 10 years old, Your Honor." "I'll be 11 next month." The courtroom falls silent. Everyone realizes they are witnessing something extraordinary, a young girl taking responsibility for her family's legal trouble with a level of maturity far beyond her age. Sophia, can you tell me why you're speaking for your parents today? She takes a deep breath, hugging her folder. Your Honor, my mama and papa work very hard, but English is difficult for them. They are afraid they will say something wrong and cause problems for our family. I study English in school, and I understand better, so I came to help them. Judge Caprio's expression softens even more as he recognizes the extraordinary love and responsibility this child has taken on. And you understand these are traffic violations your father received? Yes, Your Honor. My papa works at the restaurant from early in the morning until the afternoon, and then he cleans offices until midnight. The courtroom watches in awe as this 10-year-old presents her family's situation with the organization and clarity of a trained attorney, showing documents and explaining everything with remarkable poise. Sophia, Judge Caprio says gently, these preparations are very impressive. Did someone help you put all this together? No, Your Honor. My teacher, Mrs. Johnson, taught me how to be responsible and prepare for important things. I stayed after school for 3 days to make sure everything was perfect for my family. Judge Caprio glances at Maria and Carlos, who watch their daughter with pride mixed with fear, unable to speak for themselves, but trusting their child completely. And friends, if you're already feeling emotional seeing this brave little girl stand up for her family, go ahead and tap that like button, because what Sophia reveals next about why her parents can't speak for themselves is going to break your heart, and show you just how far families will go out of love. Judge Caprio rises from the bench and walks toward the front of the courtroom, not with authority, but with the gentle concern of someone who recognizes extraordinary courage the moment he sees it. Sophia, he says softly, I want you to know that what you're doing for your family requires tremendous bravery. Can you help me understand why your parents are afraid to speak here today? Sophia glances back at her parents, and the look in her eyes, a mix of love and fierce protectiveness, is far beyond her young age. Your Honor, she begins, voice steady but tender, my mama and papa came to America to give me and my little brother, Miguel, a better life. But they are very afraid of authority. They think if they say something wrong, we might have to leave. A hush falls over the courtroom. Judge Caprio bends down to meet Sophia at eye level, his voice growing even gentler. Sophia, are your parents here legally in the United States? The question floats in the air, delicate, heavy, and Sophia's answer reveals the burden she's been carrying on those young shoulders. Your Honor, my mama and papa are trying very hard to fix their papers. They have a lawyer, Mr. Peterson, helping them. But the process takes a long time, and they're scared that even a small mistake might hurt their case. She opens her folder again, pulling out a business card and several official-looking forms with careful hands. This is Mr. Peterson's card. And these are papers showing my parents are in the middle of applying for, she pauses, struggling with the term, for asylum status. They had to leave our country because it was dangerous for our family. Judge Caprio accepts the documents with deep care, as if Sophia is handing him her family's most fragile truth. Sophia, he says softly, you said it was dangerous back home. What do you mean? Her voice becomes quieter, but stronger at the same time. Your Honor, in our country, my papa saw bad men do bad things. He told the police. But the bad men found out, and they said they would hurt me and Miguel unless my papa stayed quiet. She reaches into her folder one more time, but this time, she pulls out something unexpected, a report card filled with straight A's and perfect attendance. Your Honor, while we wait for our papers, I go to school every day and study as hard as I can. My mama cleans houses in the daytime. My papa works 2 jobs. We pay taxes. We follow every rule. But sometimes the car rules are confusing when you are very tired. Judge Caprio studies the report card, seeing not just excellence, but the determination of a family fighting to build an honest life. Sophia, he asks gently, your grades are amazing. What do you hope to be when you grow up? For the first time, a bright smile spreads across her face. I want to be a lawyer, Your Honor. Like Mr. Peterson. I want to help other families who come here for safety. I don't want any little girl to ever stand in court for her parents because they're too scared. A wave of emotion sweeps through the room, the type that leaves people wiping tears they didn't expect to shed, and honestly, if you're not crying by now, you might want to check if your heart's still working. Sophia's dream, born out of fear, courage, and love, reveals the incredible strength that can grow from hardship. Make sure you're subscribed because what Judge Caprio does next will make you believe in the American dream again. Judge Caprio pauses to gather himself, clearly moved. When he finally speaks, his voice carries the weight of decades of experience, and the compassion of a man who recognizes true goodness when he sees it. Sophia, he says, I want you to turn around and look at your parents. She turns. Maria and Carlos stand with anxious eyes, holding on to hope through their daughter. Now, the judge continues, tell them in Spanish that they don't need to be afraid in my courtroom. Tell them that Judge Caprio says they are welcome here. Sophia's eyes widen. She immediately turns to her parents and speaks in rapid Spanish. As her words sink in, Maria begins to cry, softly, gratefully. Carlos places a steady hand on his daughter's shoulder. Judge Caprio addresses them directly, speaking slowly to ensure every word is understood. Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez, please come forward. Still clinging to Sophia, they step toward the bench. Sophia, tell your parents that I understand why they came to America. Tell them that protecting their children is what any good parent would do. As she translates, both parents nod, tears flowing openly. Now, Judge Caprio continues, tell them that working 2 jobs, paying taxes, raising a daughter who gets straight A's, a daughter who wants to become a lawyer, that is exactly the kind of family America needs. He returns to his seat, but something fundamental has changed. His presence softened, transforming from judge to guardian. Sophia, he says with a steady breath, I'm not just dismissing these traffic violations. I'm going to do something I have never done before. He lifts his phone right there in the middle of open court. Mr. Peterson, this is Judge Frank Caprio. I have the Ramirez family in front of me, and I want to personally recommend their asylum case. This family represents everything good about immigration in America. He sets the phone down and turns back to Sophia. Sophia, I want you to return to my courtroom in 1 year, not because of any legal problems, but so you can show me your report card and tell me how your family is doing. Do you promise? Sophia nods quickly, her fear replaced completely by hope. Yes, Your Honor. We will come back and show you we are good Americans. Judge Caprio smiles warmly. You already are good Americans, Sophia. You already are. The courtroom bursts into long, heartfelt applause as the Ramirez family wraps their arms around one another. Their nightmare has become a story of acceptance, safety, and new beginnings. What happens after Sophia steps out of that courtroom becomes one of the most touching displays of community kindness the city has ever seen. As they leave, several people who watched Sophia's bravery stop to speak with them. Mrs. Chen, an elderly woman waiting for her own case, gently takes Maria's hand. With Sophia translating, she offers Maria extra house cleaning work. Your daughter's courage shows what kind of family you are, she says softly. I want to help. Dr. Williams, a local pediatrician who was in court for a simple ticket, approaches Carlos next. He offers him a part-time job at his clinic. Anyone who raises a daughter like Sophia deserves every opportunity to succeed. But the most emotional moment comes later that evening. Mrs. Johnson, Sophia's teacher, shows up at their apartment after hearing about the court appearance from other students. "Sophia," she says, placing a hand on her shoulder, "I've spoken with the principal and school counselor. We want to help you prepare for college. Your dream of becoming a lawyer isn't just possible, it's going to happen." She hands Sophia a stack of books about law, civics, and American history. "These will help you learn how to help other families like yours." Within a week, Sophia's story spreads all over Providence. Local news interviews the family. Sophia, confident and composed, translates for her parents and explains their journey with the same courage she showed in the courtroom. "My parents are heroes," Sophia tells the reporter. "They saved me and Miguel by bringing us to America. Now I want to help other families feel safe, too." The interview airs that night, and the response is immediate. Families across the city reach out, offering help, friendship, and support to the Ramirezes. Then their lawyer, Mr. Peterson, calls with astonishing news. Sophia's courage in court, and Judge Caprio's personal recommendation, has, 1 year later. Exactly as she promised, Sophia returns to Judge Caprio's courtroom 1 year later. But this time, she isn't holding a folder full of legal documents. Instead, she's carrying report cards, certificates, and photos, proof of a family not just surviving in America, but thriving. Sophia, now 11 and visibly more confident, walks proudly to the bench with her parents. They no longer stand timidly behind her. They stand with her. "Good morning, Your Honor," Sophia says with a bright smile. "I kept my promise. I came back to show you how we're doing." Judge Caprio lights up when he sees them. "Sophia, look at you. I think you've grown a whole foot." Sophia giggles. "It has been the best year of our lives, Your Honor. 3 months ago, my parents received their asylum status. Now we are officially safe in America." She hands him her report card. "Straight A's again, but now with new achievements. I was elected to student government, and I started a club called New Americans. Immigrant kids help each other with homework and teach our classmates about our cultures." Carlos steps forward, speaking slowly but confidently in English. "Your Honor, thank you. When Sophia came here 1 year ago, we were so afraid. Now we feel," he places a hand on his chest, "we feel American." Maria adds softly, also in English, "Sophia teaches us English every night after homework. She says we need to learn so we can help other families who are scared like we were." Sophia proudly lifts another certificate. "Your Honor, I got the scholarship you recommended. I'm going to a summer program at Brown University for gifted students who want to study law and public service." Judge Caprio's eyebrows rise. "Sophia, this program is for high school students. You're only 11. Sophia smiles. "The director said my essay about helping immigrant families was so strong, they made an exception. I wrote about meeting you, and learning that judges can help people." Judge Caprio looks at the photos, then at the family standing before him, no longer fearful, but hopeful. "Sophia, do you remember what you told me you wanted to be when you grew up?" "A lawyer, Your Honor. To help families like mine." He nods slowly. "Well, I have something to tell you." He leans forward. "The Providence Bar Association has created a new scholarship for students from immigrant families who want to pursue law. They're calling it, the Sophia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship." Sophia's mouth falls open. "They named it after me?" "They named it after you," Judge Caprio says gently, "because you showed everyone that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what's right, even when you are afraid." He turns to the packed courtroom, people who came specifically because they heard Sophia was returning. "Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago, a 10-year-old girl taught all of us what it means to be American. Not just being born here, but living the values that make this country strong: courage, family, loyalty, hard work, and the dream of a better future. He faces Sophia again. You kept every promise you made in this courtroom. And now America keeps the promise it made to your family, that hard work, courage, and dreams can come true here. Sophia's story spreads far beyond Providence. It becomes a symbol of what happens when compassion meets courage, when fear becomes hope, and when a community opens its arms. 2 years later, Sophia is invited to speak at the National Immigration Law Conference. She steps onto the stage with the same poise she had in Judge Caprio's courtroom. When I was 10, she tells the audience, I learned that being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means protecting the people you love, even when you are scared. Her words earn a standing ovation. 3 law schools offer her guaranteed admission once she graduates high school. Judge Caprio, sitting in the audience, later reflects, Sophia didn't just defend her family that day. She defended the idea that America's strength comes from families like hers, families who risk everything for their children. The Sofia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship has now helped 12 immigrant students pursue law. Each recipient promises to provide free immigration support to families in need. Maria and Carlos now own a small restaurant where they hire other immigrants and help them navigate life in America. Sophia works there on weekends, translating and guiding families who remind her of her OWN.AT13. Now in high school, Sophia interns at Mr. Peterson's law office during summer breaks. She prepares families for immigration hearings with the same meticulous care she once brought to her own family's case. Every family I help, Sophia says, I remember being that scared 10-year-old girl. And I want them to know America has room for families who work hard and dream big. And friends, Sophia's journey reminds us that courage often comes in the smallest voices, that families seeking safety and opportunity are the same families who built this country, and that sometimes a child can teach adults what true compassion really is. Chef.F.